Okay, here's a look at the Emini SP for Tuesday, May the 21st, 2013. We had a support level down in the 61 area, which is right here, and you can see that overnight the market came right down to it, as it did also in the regular trading hours. So that is continuing to hold, and I think a price that we want to excuse me, continue to monitor going into trade overnight and then again tomorrow. Now tomorrow there will be some news, because we've got not only Chairman Bernanke speaking at 10 o'clock Eastern, but at 2 o'clock we have the FOMC minutes to be released. So certainly either one of these events could rile the market. So just be aware of that we could get some volatility at that time. You can see here that the market did go up and take out yesterday's regular trading session high, but then it came back down and finished in this area in around 65.75. So that was a fairly good sell-off from the high. We got up there to 73, so it's about 7 points or so. So I don't think too much has changed. We ended up with a day here that could be classified as the neutral day, but the early range extension was right after the end of the first hour. So then we mostly just had range extension up above yesterday's high here, and then pulled in. So I don't really think anything has changed. We still are in the up auction, that's for sure. You can see here that we've got almost overlapping values today, but once again we did manage to create higher values, so the market can continue to move up. Wouldn't be surprised if it backed off a little bit, just because of the that was a pretty good sell-off of that 7 points or so in the final third of the day, and I think we want to continue to monitor in around that 61 level for likely support going into trade tomorrow. So I didn't put any new lines on here, just the same. Here's the 61 still there. We got down just a little bit below it the regular trading hours today. We have not yet got down to the 58. And then of course our high here up at 73.25, I think it is. Yeah. That's really the near term, but this kind of down movement, basically one time frame, not totally. This is the 10-minute, of course. You have a range going from approximately 73 to 65, and that could actually contain the market heading into the overnight session. I mean, there is a possibility there, although usually when the market goes up and makes a high here and just takes out that high by just a little bit, because that earlier high was 62.75, and then the market went up to 73.25. So oftentimes when a market just goes up and makes a new tick or two high and comes off, usually there's some follow through on that. So I am expecting at least some follow through to the downside, either overnight or tomorrow. We did have that good selling level 2 bar here. We did have a nice sell-off early in the morning here with this level 2 selling bar. A little bit of follow through, just testing the previous day's low here and getting down to the 60 level, and then came up and did kind of the opposite thing here on this level 2 buying bar. Not quite as much follow through there as we had here, and then it came back in. So we're just kind of going a little bit sideways here, I think, for now, waiting to see what Mr. Bernanke and the FOMC minutes have to say tomorrow. You can see the market started off here in a fairly bearish tone intraday. We had a couple of really good high velocity moves in through here with some good level 2 selling bars, which brought the market down towards that 61 level, and then of course eventually hit it. Tested it once here, a bit of a bounce, tested it again a little bit lower, and then immediately came right back up above that 61 area in here, and then of course continued on up. This was interesting, this high velocity move right here, because oftentimes we know that these high velocity moves are beginnings or ends of good directional intraday moves, and if they get rejected, as this selling one eventually did when the market moved above it here, that's obviously quite a bullish sign. So we kind of got the heads up on that with this buying high velocity move here that moved up once the market attempted to hold below the first high velocity selling move that we had right here, came in here and kind of settled in here for a while with a rejection of the price just below the 61 support, kind of went back and forth there for a while and then started to break higher, testing the high of this, and then the buying came in. So this, the fact that this was created in this manner with immediate acceptance above its high, even in a well, in a similar way to this one, we had good acceptance below here and below here, and then it's really a question, can it continue to do so? Well, it certainly did here. The market came up here and tested towards the top of this guy, kind of back and forth, back and forth. Sellers gave it up, and it had a nice strong move higher with the level 3 buying bars. So very, very strong buying right here, which did contain the market for some time. You can see it came down here and tested in the low. Finally got up here and tested the high, but that got rejected very quickly when the market went up and made a 2-tick new high with that level 2 buying bar, but immediately came right back in, started trading below it, and then tested towards the low of this support area here. We had a test below it here with the level 2 selling that looked like for a minute it was going to get rejected and then continue on up. However, it barely did get above it. As you can see here, it started to trade inside it and then started to break down below its low. You can see when it did break down below its low, it had a nice move with another high velocity move, this time a selling one, which is really what we like to see when the market breaks through a known barrier as far as the expectation of continuation is concerned. So it did break through there at this time with a good, nice high velocity move. Then we had a bit of follow through lower. So that's why I was suggesting earlier in the video that we're likely to get some more follow through down. And I think that this area over in here is likely to be some support, a little bit above 63, which is just above this yellow area here where the market consolidated after the first wave of selling. So, you know, we did have some good opportunities in here today, but you kind of had to be a little bit careful. I think the first one, when the market came down to the known support and then started to turn higher, that was really, I think, a good clue, because we knew that we're in the up auction. We knew that that was support down here in the 61 area, and when it kind of settled in here for a little bit and then started moving above that area with that high velocity move, I think, at least in my way of thinking, sort of solidified the fact that you know, these buyers are pretty good. They really have stepped in here, so gave us an opportunity here. I think the tough thing, though, when it got up towards the high here was the kind of rejection we had off of this bar. You know, the market goes up and makes a new high and immediately comes back down. There's obviously some pretty good selling here. It did come down and stayed below it for all of this time, and then we got this other test up here that did make the new high, as I said earlier, but then started to trade below its low. So, you know, the expectation then would, you know, likely to come down at least to this area. So there's, you know, quite a few things, quite a few different opportunities we had today. But I think you've got to be fairly careful here right now. We did have a fairly good range today. I think it was around 14 points, something like that, 13 and a bit. So, you know, pretty good range. I think our average, 10-day average has been around about 10 or so. So a little bit more than average, so that was a good sign. And I would expect we're going to see a little bit of fireworks tomorrow with the release of the FOMC in the afternoon and then Bernanke in the morning. So just be careful of that. Otherwise, that'll be it for today. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you again tomorrow.